Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, it's time again for another unveiling of the Star Trek Starships collection, or at least where I'm at in the collection. And I tell you, this feels like it's been 2 or 3 months since I got my last ships. And I know there was an extra week in there somewhere, but it's here. No need to go on and on about complaining or how long it took. It's here. Let's open it up. Let's see what I think of it. Try not to cut down into the box. What do we have? We have paper. And we have magazines. 27 Romulan Bird of Prey. And 26 Tholian Starship. Yay. And of course the actual ships themselves. Let's toss this aside and take a brief look at the magazines, which I expect the layout's going to be pretty much the same. You have your specifications here. You have, kind of an introduction about the ship. A little bit about the Tholian web here. And your layout that points out some of the parts. It's never very detailed, but something's better than nothing, I guess. Designing, you always have a page either designing the model itself or designing the CGI or both. And there's a little bit of a focus on the Tholians, which is cool. They got into where they add in about whatever species the ship may be related to sometimes, and that's fine. And of course ends with the on-screen, some trivia, first and last appearances, and a what's coming next, which we already have. The Bird of Prey, Romulan Bird of Prey. Or should I say 2152? So newer or older, I can't recall. 22nd century Bird of Prey. So you have the Romulan Bird of Prey of the 22nd century. Yes, 22nd century. This was a ship that I believe was in the Enterprise series. And it says it's warp capable, which I find, it bothers me a little bit. You get the impression from watching the original Star Trek, the original series, and there's a Bird of Prey, and it looks similar. It's not as green, and I don't believe it's warp capable. They certainly give the impression that it's slower because they're using so much power for their weapon and for the cloaking. So, I don't know. Surely there's some more details. I might not have them all. Probably an explanation somewhere as to how they go from this warp capable ship with cloaking technology to a slower ship with cloaking technology. I don't know. But you have your introduction. You have your layout. Again, these are not very detailed. You have designing. I look forward to reading this and figuring out how they went from one to the other. What the thought process was. And the Romulans. This looks to be an interesting read. And of course, on-screen trivia, first appearance, TV appearance, la-di-da. And next up, the Maquis Fighter. But let's get to the part that I'm always the most interested in, And that's actually opening up the ships, seeing how they look. They have fairly secure ship. I like how it seems as they go on, these plastic cases, if you will, have snaps that hold these things into places. Holds these ships in place. Words. Keeps them from bouncing around as much, I guess. Well, this is a bit heavier than it looks. It's mostly front heavy, so I'm guessing the metal is at least here, possibly some in there, covered in plastic. But I really don't know a lot of information about what their ships are supposed to look like. I get these sometimes, and it inspires me to go back and watch the related series and episodes to find out more about them, because there's so much I forget. This is a neat little ship. Got some detail. Looks like she's got some Aztecing. I don't think the blue parts, if you hold them up to light, kind of glow a little bit. The yellow not so much, or amber. I think it's probably meant to, but the blue does it better. I don't have a lot to say about this. I like it. I'm pleased. I'm pleased with the weight of it. I'm pleased to have another one in my collection. Let's see how the stand is. And this is a rear mounter, not surprising. Afraid to put too much pressure down on top here. I'm afraid to put too much pressure down on these top pieces, because I have heard of some of these stands breaking. Not necessarily for the Tholian ship, but for like the Defiant. I've heard that it sometimes breaks. Let's consult the magazine. This is really not helpful. There we go. Have to kind of work it into place. Certainly hope it doesn't deteriorate over time. But once you get it in there properly, it seems pretty secure. I do worry a little bit with this being front heavy that it may put a strain on it, but here we are. Time will tell. So, on to the Romulan ship. Open! Whee! It's wobbly. Okay. It's not a door. Interesting. Got, some weight to it, not a lot. Metal parts kind of in the center. The usual plastic parts attached on. I've noticed right away the little tiny little lights along the front. Don't know if my poor camera is doing justice to that. If you look underneath here, there's also some lights painted on. And up top here, around this top section. So, got some detail to it. Got some tiny lights. And these plastic parts, green parts, do glow a little bit when the light comes through them, so it's nice. Pleasant little ship. Happy to add to my collection. Now you can kind of catch some of it there reflecting off of the lights. Very nice. Let's put this on its stand. The stands seem to be fitting tighter than they were the first few ships. Seems like they're getting more secure. That's nice and secure. Am I doing that right? It almost looks like it's upside down. It should be that way. But these two stands for these two ships are quite a bit sturdier in the base, so you don't have the wobbling of it being loose. This one's a little tricky to get it in there. Acts like it doesn't want to, but once you do, it's very sturdy. So that much is an improvement over what we have seen with the first few editions, like the Defiant, and the Excelsior was on its stand pretty firmly, but it wobbled a lot. And I think the movie Enterprise wobbled a lot. The Defiant falls off easy, as so does Reliant, I think, as well. Anyhow, happy to finally have them. Two more to my collection. Still quite pleased with the ships that they're sending me, with being able to own these ships. I have never had either one of these in a collection before. I have never had a model. I've never had a micro machine. I've never even knew it was possible. So there's so many ships that are coming out that some of them I've had bigger models. I've had AMT models. I have micro machine models, but they're nicer and more detailed. And there's so many that are coming out that I've never had before, and that's exciting for me. And the magazines are proven to be, for the most part, an interesting read. Some of the little bits and details. I am concerned about how closely to pay attention to those details, because I understand they're making mistakes here and there. And then again, there's always going to be stuff that's debatable. So, still happy. If you like the ships, if you like the idea of having all these different ships in your collection, subscribe. I'm looking forward to my next bonus gift. So far I've gotten the plaque, which is nice, and I've gotten the Future Enterprise, which is really cool. So next up will be Borg's cube, which I'm not sure I'm looking that much forward to. I understand it's kind of a plastic, not that great looking thing. And I'm very much looking forward to the next special. So far I've only gotten the one. So hopefully it won't be that long before my next episode or next video. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, comments, leave them down below. And keep on keeping on.